everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 3,000 point battle. Yeah, Cannon of Doom. He got a hold of me and he was like, "You want to play a 3,000 point game?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to play a 3,000 point game." So I took my list and actually, funny part is I kind of forgot. And so I took my 2,500 point list and I just threw another 500 points onto it, of course meeting core requirements. So no new characters or anything like that. I threw a couple of thunder cannons in the list. I think I threw, oh gosh, we'll go over the list in a minute. But yeah, there's no new characters, nothing huge, just a couple of thunder cannons and I think some bruisers. And I think that might have been enough to make the 500 points. I think maybe the Bombardier's got a magic banner. That's really it. So it's my main list with some reinforcements. But 'tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Khans, versus Cannon of Doom of the Empire of Sonstal. This game is brutal. And I know I said that last game and I was telling the truth. This game is equally as brutal, and I'm telling the truth. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and no significant changes to the characters especially. So this should be pretty quick actually. I still have my Great Khan, Berserk. He's got the Kingslayer, Hardened Shield, Talisman of Supreme Shielding, the Divine Icon, and he still has Headhunter on him, although I'm toying with changing that. Next up, I have my Great Shaman, Skaz. Skaven and AZ. I think that's a fitting laugh for him. He's a level 4 wizard with Screaming Swords, Demonic Heart, Talisman of Greater Shielding, Charm of Cursed Iron, and the Path of Alchemy. That's one of the bigger changes. I'm trying out Alchemy instead of Butchery because honestly, I like the number 6 spell. I like the idea of boosting the armor saves on my units, especially if it stacks. It could really shore up a major weakness in my army, I think. I don't know yet. I haven't tried it. So now Skaz has it, so let's see what happens. Next up are my hero choices, and of course, I still have my Khan. He's still my BSB. He's got his Flesh Render, the Mithril Mail, the Talisman of Lesser Shielding, because he only ever really needs a 6-up ward. And I gave him Rotten Jaw because I like him having poison attacks. Last but certainly not least is my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got his Ogre Crossbow, the Heart Ripper, Yeti Furs, Gem of Dragonfire, Troll Eater, and he's on his trusty Tusker, the War Teddy. This guy's dangerous as all hell. For my core choices, I start us off with 7 Tribesmen, the good old boys. They've got a full command, Iron Fist, and the War Standard. I've got another unit of 7 by Tribesmen, Skaz's Spazzes, with full command, Iron Fist. They do not have a magic banner, because that would be cheating. Then I've got a unit of 4 Bruisers. They're butt naked. They're just to make up my core attacks. Then, thanks to a very useful suggestion from one of you guys, I got 2 units of 15 by Scraplings with banner and short bows. It's a scoring unit, it's a shooty unit, it helps make up the core points, and in a pinch, they can be really good chaff units or throwaway units. So it was a good idea, thank you, and I would mention the individual's name, but I don't know if they want me to or not. So by all means, in the comment section, if this is your suggestion, take credit where it's due, and I'll give you proper credit in the next battle report. For my special choices, I have a unit of 6 Scrapling Trappers, my favored pets. And I've got 2 separate units of Saber-Toothed Tigers, the Saber Spider and Saber Spider Jr. And then I've got my unit of 5 Mercenary Veterans, the Storm of Retribution. They have a banner, a musician, Iron Fists. I gave them Lethal Strike, Bodyguard, because that's where the BSB goes now, and the Stalker Standard, so that they make their flippin' charges. And I don't have to worry about dangerous terrain anymore, so that's really nice. Then I've got a unit of 4 Bombardiers with Musician, Unit Champion, and that's it. The Champion's new just because he hits easier. You know, he's got +1 ballistic skills, so that's kind of nice. Then for my rare choices, I got a pair of Thunder Cannons on the table, which is the first time I've ever really tried to field these guys. I did have some in my big mega game, the 7,000 point game. But yeah, I needed to make up 500 points, and these guys were a quick and easy and efficient way to do that. And then, of course, I've got the badass of all the badasses, my Frost Mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of ogre crossbows on the patsies that he carries around on his back, but he's the main deal right there. And yes, absolutely love this guy. So that's it for my list. I'm going to post my opponent's list. I'm using the new format with the faded text and everything like that, music. Let me know what you think. I don't know which one I like better. I'm having trouble. I'm going back and forth. So I need opinions so I can be the cool kid again. Appreciate it. Here, my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. Notice I am using the Lore of Alchemy now. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again right now. You're welcome. And here's deployment. Okay, as you can see, I've got all my stuff pretty much lined up across my end of the board. 3,000 points is a lot to put on the table, even for ogres. On the left side there, I have a unit of 15 scraplings. I've got my bruisers next to them. On the hill, I have the good old boys with my General Great Khan Berserk on there. Behind them is a Thunder Cannon. In the middle there, I've got 2 Saber Spiders flanking either side of my Mercs with my BSB. Rufus is right behind them. I've got Skaz's Spazzes in there. With Skaz, obviously. Next to them are my Bombardiers, and on that hill behind them are my Scraplings, my other Thunder Cannon, and of course, Lord Tremendous making up the right flank. The idea here is quite simple. I got to deploy first. I figured no matter what he was going to do, he was either going to go on the left side, right side. I knew he was going to do the denied flank thing. I just didn't care. Whatever. It is a fun game. I'm going to go across the table and try to kill as much of his stuff as I can before he kills all my stuff. I fully expected to lose this game. So, yeah, my thing was I was curious to see how the Thunder Cannons would do, and I was curious to see which side of the table he would set up on. That was really it. Okay, so here's top of 1 after movement, and I just move forward. Everything pretty much goes forward. Tremendous runs up into that, what's it called? Choke point where that bottleneck in between the impassable terrain and the ruins. His job is just to try to get a hold of those rioters before they get in and start causing a problem to my Thunder Cannons or my Scraplings. The Bombardiers kind of ignore the right flank. They want to shoot at the Knights. That's his elite unit of Knights in the middle there, and I knew they had to die. He actually made a point of saying, these are my elite Knights, so that was my target on the right side there in the center of the table. But yeah, the Saber Spiders move up. The one on the right was bait. If he charged them, they were going to flee. My Trappers, they move up 8 inches to shoot at his handgunners. I figure even if I only kill one, that's one less shot he's going to take at me. And that was why I moved him up there. The Mercs, Skaz's Spazzes, everybody on there, they just kind of move up. Rufus moves up only 6 inches so he can shoot at the big fancy elite Knights. The good old boys go behind the Trappers and everything like that and stay behind that forest so that if he does shoot at them, he's got to shoot through soft cover, so I felt good about that. Bruisers shoot forward because I don't care about them. If they die, they die. I was kind of hoping something would charge them. And of course, on the left flank there, my Scraplings move up just slightly so they can try to shoot at something, maybe. That's pretty much it for movement. During the magic phase, I get Silver Spike off on his knights. That's the one that does, you wound on their armor save, and it gives them no armor save. And I think it might be flammable too. I'm not 100% on that. But anyway, it penetrates strikes like a bolt thrower, only it's like -1 to wound or something, instead of -1 strength, or maybe I got that reversed. Either way, I killed 2 knights, and alchemy's good. I mean, yeah, Bone Crusher would have done the same thing, but this was cool. This was much easier to wound with. In the shooting phase, first shot with the Thunder Cannon, I fire at his volley gun. I figured, why not? I fire at his volley gun, I hit, I wound, I do 4 wounds, destroying his volley gun with 1 shot. Cannons are awesome. Then the guys that Rufus carries around with him fire at those elite knights and take out 1 more for their trouble, which was an excellent shot. And then my trappers fire at the handgunners and kill 3 of them. Yeah, my shooting is on point this game. With that all said and done, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and there's a little bit. His guys on griffins, I think, come forward, kind of threatening my bruiser a little bit. The one on the right, the unpainted gray one, is his general. The one on the left is just, I think, a captain on a griffin. Then he's got a couple of other captains on that hill on the left side there on Pegasus. They come over too, threatening my flank. His knights kind of get stuck in the bottleneck. That unit behind his skirmishers get stuck behind that unit of skirmishers. His halberdier unit gets stuck. His handgunners don't move because they want to shoot the crap out of me. The big thing that happens is that his elite unit of knights charge my trappers. Well, I fled with my trapper because I didn't want that combat. I only fled 4 inches. His knights slam into them. I think he rolls like an 11 or something like that. Catches my trappers, but falls just shy of my, what's it called? The good old boys, my tribesmen, which is insane. Not so much because those guys could charge him next turn and be beautiful, but my mercs can charge him in the flank, and now my mercs have the standard, the stalker standard, so they don't have to worry about dangerous terrain, even though my trappers were in there. His knights have the stalker standard as well, so they didn't take any dangerous terrain. But yeah, it's looking good for the home team with those knights, let me tell you. On the right flank there, his riders move up to look at Lord Tremendous. They're going to try to fill him full of holes. And his character on a dragon moves up to do the same thing, to look at Tremendous and dare him to charge the riders. And you know Tremendous is going to charge them. Screw those riders. Screw that dragon. I ain't scared. There's a better picture of his elite knights destroying my trappers, but falling just shy of my tribesman unit, which is huge. This actually just might work out. During his magic phase, I cannot for the life of me remember what he got off, but he fires some sort of spell off on my bruisers, and he kills one and puts a wound on another. They do pass their panic check, thank God. But in order to get that spell off, my opponent miscasts 9, which is pretty cool. Ends up putting a wound on his mage and ends his magic phase. So I was pleased with that. It could have been better. You know, I would have preferred a template, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Then his handgunners in the shooting phase open up on my mercenaries and kill a guy, leaving a wound on another. Man, those handgunners are good. Then we hear his riders. They get an unbelievable amount of wounds through on Tremendous, like 5, I think. And due to Math Hammer, 1 is able to slip through. And yeah, I'm not pleased about that. With no close combat, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and there will be close combat. Lord Tremendous on the right flank slams into the riders. They stand, they shoot, they don't do anything to him. They blew their wad in the first volley, and Tremendous slams into them. My mercenary vets slam into the knights in the forest there in the middle of the table, and you knew that was going to happen. My bruisers, mostly because I didn't have anything else for them to do, charge the painted griffin on the left side there and make that. I figure any wounds they do to this thing are positive wounds. I don't expect them to survive. I don't expect them to do well. My scraplings move up to shoot at the Pegasus captains because why not? That's what they're there for. The good old boys and my general turn to face his general and the skirmishers and stuff like that. Figure if he wants to charge me, great. If not, great. I will send my general and his unit into his rank and file stuff and hopefully cause all sorts of havoc. Rufus moves up about 6 inches so he can shoot again. The bombardiers turn around to face the dragon because it occurs to me I need to put more shots downrange at this damn thing, and my cannons and my other unit scraplings stay put. That's pretty much it for movement, with the exception, I'm sorry, of my saber-tooth spider. The one in the top middle there is turned to face the handgunners. I figure either A, he turns to face the spider and gives up a flank and shoots at a spider, who cares, or B, the spider gets a charge in their flank next turn and stop him from shooting for a turn so that Skaz's Spaz can get in there. That's the hope, anyway. We'll see how that works. There's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into the riders, and yeah, we pretty much know how this is going to go. And there's a better picture of my mercenaries slamming into his knights, and I'm looking forward to this. There's a better picture of the bruiser slamming into that captain on a griffin, and honestly, I'm just curious to see if there's going to be any left to attack. I don't have high hopes for this unit. During the magic phase, I get a couple of spells off. I get Commandment of Iron goes off on both my Merc Vets and Skaz's Spazes, which is nice because now my Mercs have a 3-up armor and Skaz's Spazes are back up to a 4, which is huge. I think I put Distracting and Hard Target on the Merc Vets, and I can't remember what I put on the Skaz's Spaz. I can't read it. On my picture when I'm doing this narration, it's really, really small. I can't see it. So, but those are the spells I got off. So I'm liking Alchemy. I'm really enjoying upping my armor saves, especially when my guys are already in combat. That's actually really cool. So we go into shooting. I take aim at his general, not even knowing it was his general. I have a tendency of forgetting what character is what in these games, which is really stupid, I know. So my cannon fires at his general, hits, wounds, and does 5 wounds because it's ordnance. D3 plus 2 because the model has flying. So I do 5 wounds to it and it dies. It just explodes right there. I was so surprised that that happened, I didn't even bother to roll the 2d6 to see if the cannon hit anything else along the path. So yeah, only hit and killed the general. I didn't hit anything else because I just didn't even think to do the 2d6 line. But yeah, his general has been erased by a cannon. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to incorporate cannons into my 2,500 point list. These things are amazing. So with his general dying within 6 inches of most of his army, it causes a boatload of panic checks. He passes most of them, but his halberdier unit fails and goes like 12 inches right off the table. So holy crap! Just by killing, I mean, these cannons have done so much, and it's only turn 2. Killed his general, killed his volley gun, forced the halberdier unit off the table due to panic. Yeah, definitely need to incorporate one into my usual list from now on. Over here, Lord Tremendous has no problem just killing all the riders. It wasn't even a challenge. It was just straight up murder. And then I turn him to face the dragon, daring him to charge me. Then over here, as you can see, it goes exceptionally well for my mercenaries. We kill all but 2 of these knights. Lethal Strike rears its ugly head, and against a high armored target, Lethal Strike is a game ender. The knights break, I pursue, but they get away. But my mercs aren't in a terrible position. They're in the forest, they've got hard cover, they got soft cover, they got distracting, and next turn they're going to have a beautiful charge either into some skirmishers, into some knights, into some other knights. It should work out well next turn. We'll see. Over here, it's a little silly, I'm not going to lie to you. My opponent flubs every single attack he has. I tell him, I'm like, I'm great weapons, have fun killing the unit. I figured this unit's vaped. He does nothing. In return, I don't do anything. My impact hits did 1 wound to the Griffin, and my attacks back do nothing to him. So I have charge and a wound to nothing. I win by 2, but lo and behold, he makes his break check, and we stick just like this. So with that all said and done, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and my opponent is up. He charges a lot, actually. One of his captains on the pegs charge my scraplings on the left flank there. They stand and shoot, but they don't do anything to him. Not a surprise, but a 15-man brick of scraplings is a small sacrifice to make to keep that thing out of my hair for a turn or 2. His other stuff charges my bruisers. His other guy on a Pegasus charges into the flank of the bruisers and makes it. I can't see. I can't remember if something else charges them or not. I don't think so, but I'm not 100%. As you can see, the other unit of riders and the knights kind of they're really bottlenecked and stuck in a traffic jam over there, but they're trying to make their way around. His skirmishers try to move a little bit to get some pot shots off on the good old boys. The knights rally and turn to face, even at half leadership. I know, pretty good roll on my opponent's part. And then on the right flank there, his dragon charges Lord Tremendous and makes it. So that should be a really good fight. Other than that, there was really nothing else in movement. There's a better picture of his Pegasus Knight charging my Scraplings and his other Pegasus Knight charging my Bruisers. Nothing else charged them, obviously. And there's a better picture of his dragon slamming into Lord Tremendous. And I gotta be honest, at this point, I'm like, I may have overestimated Tremendous's abilities in close combat. But we'll see. We'll see. Stranger things have happened, and I am rolling quite well this game. During the shooting phase, even with soft and hard cover, or whatever he got, I think just hard cover, the handgunners shoot and have no problem dropping another mercenary, almost taking out 2. I think he did another 4 wounds to the unit. That's fine. The unit is still very combat effective, but holy crap, those handgunners are too damn good. After the handgunners are done, the skirmishy unit shoots at my merc vets and are able to slip 1 more wound through, killing the guy in the back. I do take my panic check, and they pass. And then we go into combat. And okay, so I think I did a wound to the dragon, which I think actually the Tusker got through. Lord Tremendous himself, though, he didn't break, he didn't run down, he got flat out throat punched and then monkey stomped into the ground. The dragon ate my lunch, which now gives me a little bit of dragon envy, I won't lie to you, but no, my opponent beat the piss out of me and it was hilarious. He does overrun with his dragon and ends up only going about 5 inches, though. It sits right there in the bottleneck, which leaves him wide open to my cannons, my scraplings, my bombardiers. So I have 1 chance, I have 1 turn of shooting to kill this damn thing. And if I don't, it's going to erase my backfield in about a turn. So, a little desperate, not going to lie to you. Over here, yeah, he does not flub his attacks in this combat at all. 2 bruisers die before they can do anything, because that's kind of what bruisers do. And the last bruiser, of course, he's got 1 wound left on him, and he does nothing, because honestly, bruisers suck, the big one. I lose this combat, I end up fleeing from the Griffin, but my bruiser ends up getting away. Just barely, but he gets away, and hey, I'll take it. It really puts his other Griffin and his Pegasus in a really bad position, because the good old boys can flank charge the hell out of him, and if he flees, he's going off the table. So, I mean, the bruisers accidentally did a really good thing. Then over here, the captain on the Pegasus is able to kill 4 or 5 of these guys. I don't remember exactly how many. In return, I'm able to do absolutely nothing to him. I lose. I am steadfast 6. But that doesn't matter at all. He ends up running me the hell down, and what can you do? I mean, it's just scraplings. Who cares? So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and there's a bunch. My Skazis Spazzes charge the handgunner team, and they fail. They also take a casualty from the stand and shoot reaction it gave. The Saber-tooth Spider there makes it into the flank of the handgunner unit, though, so at least that's the last shot they're going to get. My other unit of Saber-tooth Spider guy, he charges into the skirmishing unit that condenses down and slams to death. So hopefully he can hold them for a little bit, because I think that would be very beneficial to me. I don't expect him to win, I expect him to just hold him there for a minute. The mercenaries charge the elite knights, or what's left of them, in order to try to kill them off. My general's unit charges into the Griffin, because I think that's the biggest threat, and if I can kill it or break it, I can run into the Pegasus Knight, and that would be huge. And other than that, my bruiser continues to flee. He does not make his break check. Even with the general's leadership cut in half, granted, he does not make his break check and continues to flee. My thunder cannon moves in such a way that it can still shoot at the Pegasus guy, but is out of the charge arc of the other Pegasus. I thought. I turn out to be wrong. Spoiler. And on the right side there, my other thunder cannon, scraplings, and bombardiers get ready to shoot the ever-loving piss out of that dragon. That's really it for movement. There's a better picture of my good old boys and berserks slamming into the Griffin, and that should be fun. There's a better picture of the Saber Spider 1 making it into the handgunners, Saber Spider Jr. making it into the skirmishers, and Skaz's Spazzes holding up short because, well, yeah, I know it's a long charge and everything, but Skaven and AZ likes to disappoint me, and there has to be at least 1 point per game where he lets me down. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for keeping the status quo. And there's a better picture of my bruiser running for his natural life. During the magic phase, I got a couple of things off, nothing huge or anything like that. I forgot to take pictures, to be perfectly honest. But during the shooting phase, the thunder cannon on the right flank fires at the dragon. 1 shot, 1 kill. Hits, wounds. I think it did 5 wounds because it's a flyer, and it dies. So, holy crap. Holy crap, do I need to start bringing these in my normal lists. I love these things. So then we go over here into combat, and the Saber Spider, who I really didn't think was going to do anything, ends up killing like 2 of the handgunners. In return, he's not able to do anything back to me. I have charge, I have flank, I have 2 wounds, he's steadfast, and he makes his break check. He does not turn to face me though, and that's a damn shame. Then over here, my Saber Spider is able to actually destroy the skirmish unit he's in combat with. He gets into combat, I think he kills 2 or 3 of the guys. Same thing as with the handgunners. I win by 4. Skirmishes are not steadfast. They can't be. They break, and I run them down, vaping the unit, which was super impressive for a piece of chaff. And then right here, my mercs are able to finish off the knights, no problem. Lethal strike, I did a couple of wounds with lethal strike, and they just got picked up. Not a big deal, not difficult, they're awesome. Over here, Berserk ends up in a challenge with the Griffin guy. I'm not able to do anything to the Griffin guy. He's able to make all of his saves. In return, Berserk takes a wound, which kind of sucks. But it doesn't really matter because charge, flank, super flank, banner, war banner to wound. I win by a lot. He breaks, but he gets away. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. The good note is I do end up overrunning into his Pega Captain or whatever and get him in the flank, so that's awesome. Hopefully I can kill that guy next turn, overrun into the Griffin, and life will be good. Here's bottom of 3 after movement. There has been some. His knights charged a flank of my good old boys with Berserk. Didn't see that coming. Should have seen that coming. Absolutely true, but I did not. So yeah, they're in my flank. It's a hell of a charge. Probably going to lose that unit. Not feeling real smart right now. His other Captain on a Pegasus charges my Thunder Cannon. I thought by moving I would be out of his charge arc. I was not. He could see me very easily. And other than that, though, I think his mage just kind of gets around the mercenary vets, and his Griffin rallies. Other than that, everything else he has is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of his knights slamming into the flank of Berserk and the good old boys. Really didn't want to lose this unit, especially not like this, but hopefully we can put up a good enough fight that we can take this unit out, or as many of the members of this unit as we possibly can. Words are hard sometimes, leave me alone. And there's a better picture of the charge that my opponent got with his other captain on a Pegasus. This was really well saw by my opponent. I didn't see it. People around the table didn't see it. My opponent was like, "Oh no, you're in my charge arc." We put the arc up there. He was 100% right, and he made his charge. So maybe I should have fled, but you know what? He earned this one. Nothing happens in shooting or combat, shooting or magic, so we go into combat. The Saber-tooth Spider is able to kill 2 more handgunners, but unfortunately the 2 handgunners that are able to swing back hit, wound, and kill the Saber Spider. Yes, needing 4s and 5s, the 2 dice that he had, he rolled 4 ups and then 5 ups to wound, and tigers are naked, so he killed him. But I'm very impressed with my Saber Spider. I'm not upset at all. In combat over here, his Pega Captain isn't able to do anything to my cannon. My cannon isn't able to do anything to him, but he's got a charge and a flank on me. I don't make my break check. I flee, and the Pega Captain goes like 12 inches, catches my Thunder Cannon, and destroys it, which is really too bad. It did super good this game, and I guess my opponent earned this one. Over here in combat, my unit champion ends up in a challenge with his Pega Captain. Berserk swings away at the knights, is able to kill 2 of them. In return, I take a wound on my unit, I take a wound on my unit champion, and that's it. So, with everything that's all said and done, I think I win this. I know I win this combat by 1 or 2. The Pega Captain breaks and flees, is almost off the table. He does bounce through the Griffin, but the Griffin makes his panic check. And the Knights stay. I turn to face the Knights, and it's Miller time. I'm glad they brought rubber lances. Honestly, my opponent is just rolling like trash, and I'm going to take advantage of it because I'm a bad person. And so to prove that, here's top of 4 after movement. Not a ton. My Skazaspazes finally make it into the handgunners. They do lose 2 of their guys for the effort because he's able to stand and shoot. That sucked. Rufus goes up into the forest a little bit just to get out of the charge arc of the Captapeg and, you know, trying desperately to get in 6-inch range to slow everything down by D3 initiative. The Bruiser continues to flee. That guy probably isn't going to rally. And then the Bombardiers, the Cannon, and the Scraplings turn to face the Pega Captain in the bottom center there because he has to die. He has to answer for the horrendous insult that he threw at the other Thunder Cannon that he just smashed all over the ground. That's pretty much it for movement. There's about a picture of Skazaspazes making it into the combat with the handgunners, finally. I lost 2 to the stand and shoot reaction, and I lost 1 to dangerous terrain checks taken for charging through the forest. It was a costly charge. And there's about a picture of the Bruiser continuing to flee for his life. During the magic phase, I think I get Quicksilver Cloak off or something on this unit, makes him distracting and hard target. I cannot remember for the life of me, but my opponent let it go off because I did it with overwhelming power. After resolving the spell, I end up rolling a miscast 7, which probably isn't the best miscast I can roll, and end up losing yet another tribesman before 1 swing is taken in anger in close combat. So I'm just doing all the work on Skazaspazes for my opponent. You know, it's the least I could do. Once again, during the shooting phase, my Thunder Cannon takes aim at the Pega Captain, shoots, wounds, and does like 4 wounds, killing the Pega Captain. I didn't use my Bombardiers, I didn't use my Scraplings, I didn't even use harsh language, I just fired the cannon. I was wrong, there's still I win buttons, and I cannot wait to have one in my regular list. I'm dirty. We go into combat, and Skaz and his Spazes are able to just obliterate most of this unit. I think in the end he's got maybe 3 or 4 guys left. Honestly, I think we did enough damage for them to auto-break, we pursue, we catch them, and run them down. And end up in the ruined hills there, or whatever. Over here, I mean, now that the Knights haven't charged, their strength is really going to have a hard time getting through to getting any damage through me. I'm able to kill 3 more of his Knights. He's able to kill 1 of my tribesmen. I think it does 2 wounds to the unit. I have rank, banner, war standard, 3 wounds to his 2 wounds and a standard. He loses this combat. And he breaks, and he gets run down. My opponent can't catch a break. I feel sorry for him, I do. It sucks. I've been on this end last game, but he's a vet of 9th Age and stuff like that. He understands, and he was trying to do the same thing to me. But to make matters even worse for him, his Griffin was within 6 inches of a unit broken combat, panicked, and took off the table. So leadership is not the Empire's strong suit in this game, and it's just my opponent's dice. They're rolling against him. His dice have always been in love with me, though, so I don't know what to tell you. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and things go from bad to worse. My opponent's captain on a Pegasus fails his rally check and flees off the table. His mage moves a little bit, but all he has left on the table is a mage, and Rufus is looking right at him. So it's, oh gosh, I've been here, brother, and I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry this happened. Nothing happens in the magic phase because he tries to get some big spell off. He rolls 5 dice on it. I really didn't want it to go off, so I stopped it. I was able to dispel it. So we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and I don't charge with Rufus because I didn't trust myself to go through the forest with my monster. It's DT2s because the trappers were in there, and I've lost Rufus to less. So I just decided that magic and shooting would have to do. Skaz comes out of his unit, walks over to 6 inches to look at the mage. Everyone else turns around to look at the mage. Everything with a gun or a bow turns to look at the mage, and the bruiser keeps on fleeing. Nothing happens in the magic phase. I did actually get a spell off, but it's Lore of Alchemy, and the mage doesn't wear armor, so it was a huge, huge waste of time and a huge risk to my caster. So, as kind of a joke, at this point we're laughing. It's a little ridiculous how good my cannons have done. So he's like, shoot him with the cannon! So I shoot with the cannon, needing a 5. I hit! Couldn't believe it! I wounded, and I splattered him all over the ground. So, cannons for the win! So yeah, there it is, guys and girls. There's the end of the game. There is an abundance of ogre flesh on the table, and there are no Empire models left on the table. This was very one-sided. I guess the dice gods were just trying to get everything back into balance after the ass whooping I took against Gnome Runner in my last game. But I gotta be honest, if there's gonna be a tabling, I'd rather be on this side of the table. It feels better. Oh, I know I'm a bad person. I've made my peace with my demons. Why haven't you? Well, you know what? We'll get to the recap right away because I'm in a good mood. So yeah, this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, guys. In the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I tabled my opponent in the top of turn 5. Pretty extraordinary. I'm pretty happy with the turnout. Go figure, huh? I ended up losing my trappers, Lord Tremendous, 1 unit of scraplings, my bruisers, because we just assumed that he fled off the table. There was no way I was making that roll. 1 saber spider and 1 thunder cannon. So I did take some lumps. So the number 1 thing I took away from this game is that cannons are awesome. I have every intention in the world of fielding one in every list that I play, until I'm sick of them, which I'm sure will happen eventually. Really impressed with them. Berserk finally had a good showing in this game. Not a mind-blowing one, but I have an idea on how to use him in the game still, and yet not as points costly as he is. Path of Alchemy is pretty fantastic, I gotta be honest. I think I might like it better than Butchery. I'm gonna keep it on Skaz for a little while, see what I can do with it. The Saber Spider that ate the Skirmishers, holy crap, did I not expect that. Those guys are pretty friggin' good. And have I mentioned the cannons yet? The cannons that took out a dragon, a volley gun, forced a panic check that caused the halberdiers... No, that's not true. Forced a... killed a... what's it called? A captain on a Pegasus. Killed the mage in the end. Those damn... The cannons did more work than anything else. They're awesome. I did feel pretty bad for my opponent, though. It was really a lot of his dice rolls that screwed him more than anything else. I mean, half of his army was lost due to panic checks. The Pegasus Knights, what's it called? The Griffin, the friggin' Halberdier unit. A lot of panic and break checks and leadership checks he should have passed. He didn't. His dice were just like, not today! And, yeah, like I said, his dice have always been in love with me, and I think in this game they might have proposed. Not really sure. I think, for all intents and purposes, even though this is only a very small sampling, that the cannon suck argument is settled. At least for me. And most of all, the elite knights catching the trappers in the forest like that was not my opponent's intention at all, and that was their downfall. I think if he had been able to use them fully, it would have been a much different game. Like I said, his dice just had my back. But yeah, as you saw, this was a crazy game. A lot of WTF moments, to say the least. I feel bad for my opponent. Still a great opponent, still a good opponent. I enjoy playing against him, but I really hope he'll give me a rematch after this. I gotta imagine he wants revenge at some level. Alright guys, you know how I always try to keep you informed of the coolest new stuff. There's a lot of companies supporting 9th Age, and one of the, I guess, newer ones is a company called Hidden Dreams. And right now they have an Indiegogo campaign going on where they're putting out some of the most amazing Sylvian Elf models that I've ever seen. And that's not all. They will pro paint them just like you're looking at right here in this theme as part of the Indiegogo campaign. I'm telling you guys, if you're an elf lover, well, there's no hope for you. But if you like elves, if you're looking for some badass Sylvan elf models, hell, highborn elves or dread elves even, these models, you need to get into this Indiegogo campaign. The links are in my description. You can check them out forever. I think as of this posting, there's about a week and a half left in the Indiegogo campaign, and they're almost completely funded. So it's a really good campaign to get into. I don't get anything for telling you guys about this. I'm just trying to give you guys a hell of an option in order to get some amazing models pro-painted if you're froggy enough to jump on it, and it's totally worth it. The prices will never be better. Get on this, guys. Look at these models. I mean, as you can see, there are multi-part models, multiple options. You will have bits left over. Some of these weapons alone are worth getting into this Indiegogo campaign. I'm telling you guys, check out the description, copy, paste, get into this. You know, pledge anything that you can. Get these models before you got to pay full price for them. I'm telling you, you'll never forgive yourself if you don't get into it. Not only that, but I mean, look at this thing. These models will actually take some of the shame out of fielding an elven army. So you can actually have pride in your army again by getting these models. Oh, don't like what I'm saying about elves? Pledge, get some of these models, meet me on the table of battle, and I'll show you just how quickly I can defeat you. Or maybe you'll show me. You won't know unless you pledge, get the models, and make it happen. Check it out, guys. You're not going to regret it. Alright, guys, real quick, as always, I want to say thank you to everyone that supports me financially through Patreon and PayPal and moral support. I appreciate that as well. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, and Daniel Jolson. Thank you guys very, very much. As well as everyone who donates anonymously and won't let me thank them properly on my battle reports. Thank you all as well. I really appreciate it. If you would like me to post something like this about you, your gaming team, or whatever, as long as it's within reason, feel free to check me out on Patreon or PayPal. Let me know what you want to say, and as long as you're donating, I will happily put this up on there. Really appreciate it, guys. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Battle Report number 35. I don't know about you guys, but I could really use a break, a nap and stuff. Just all the excitement and acceleration, not to mention that badass Indiegogo from Hidden Dreams. You gotta go check it out. All the links are in my description. There's a ton of cool stuff to check out. Go check it out. You won't regret it. Tell them Tremendous sent you. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.